we move on to someone who
Ronda
is an interesting figure, to say the least. So we will discuss Ronda Rousey. So we're going to throw to a quote at first from Dana White, but as the headline states, you know it's coming. Ronda Rousey has been in the headlines for her protests at the moment, looking to go up to DAPL and help. I think that's a good, always for athletes who want to be activists.
Can I make a joke?
You can. I like that you
probably
asked.
should have sent Amanda Nunes because Ronda took 2 straight L's. We should send the winner to fight the DAPL. Get a cake.
I get the point of the joke. Could have been worded in a shorter case. You should have put that joke into Bitly and had it shortened.
It probably should have. That's good too. So it would have been like jo.k/
Bitly's the best.
Rousey.
Bitly's a real MVP. So Ronda Rousey, courtesy of Dana White's quote, it looks like she will not be getting back into the octagon anytime soon. In the conversation I had with her, if I had to say right here, right now, again, I don't like saying anything right here, right now, because it's up to her, but I wouldn't say she fights again. I think she's probably done. She's going to ride off into the sunset and start living her life outside of fighting.
Right here, right now, why would she come back?
Yeah.
She would have to fight. There's a chance that Dana White would really sink that low that he'd just give her another title shot. There's a chance, but she'd also have to fight. What would be the right way to do it is she'd have to fight somebody who's not the champion. And we know how to beat Ronda Rousey now. It's pretty obvious. No disrespect to what she built for the women's MMA and MMA in general. But there's a clear flaw in her training. There's a clear flaw in her coaching. There's a clear flaw in her form. So if she were to fight somebody that wasn't the champion and lose 3 straight losses, what do you have to gain at that point? Move forward. You've left your mark behind. The immature will say, Ronda Rousey knocked out by Holly Holm. Ronda Rousey gets beaten up by Amanda Nunes, does a joke. No, those people don't even respect their opinions. They don't deserve to say that about Ronda Rousey and what she built for it. So remember her for what she did, not what she lost for. So why go back and fight? Can you think of any reason at this point?
Every athlete has certain points in their list of to-do that they really don't want to look back on and went, I shouldn't have left that the way it was, right? So for instance, like I think Ronda Rousey's built in a very similar way to many athletes are built. I think LeBron James shares a lot of the same logistics. I think that Conor McGregor shares a lot of the same logistics where they don't want to look back on that list and think there's a black mark there that I never tried to right? So like LeBron James, if he never went back to Cleveland and left his hometown without a championship, that would eat him alive into the future. Conor McGregor, if he never went back and fought Nate Diaz and left that with an L on it, that would probably eat him alive. Ronda Rousey, in her own way, as a fighter, as a competitor, probably the only thing that would maybe drive her back is to go out on a winning note. To go out knowing that she was able to prove to herself that she could still do it. That's the only thing, I think, that would make her want to go back. But she then would have to look in the mirror and realise she's not the same fighter back then. It's not the same sport. People now are getting better and better. I'm not saying there weren't good fighters, but more and more fighters in the women's division of the UFC are adjusting. They're becoming ferocious with their striking. Amanda Nunes is a dangerous, dangerous woman. Holly Holm exploited Ronda Rousey's weakness, and then Holly Holm was exploited for her own weakness. Amanda Nunes is in a different field. Like, if Holly Holm was still the champion, or was still there or thereabouts, and Miesha Tate had upset her.
She might be a champion in a week.
Yeah, I'm saying that if she was in that same field, then Ronda may be like, maybe I could go back, because she got knocked out emphatically, but not anywhere near in the same fashion that Amanda Nunes. Like, there was no glimpse of Amanda Nunes slowing down. Amanda Nunes, I think, is in her own field at the moment, whereas no one really, I think people are scared to take her on. So if Ronda was to come back, the only thing it would be is to try and go out on a W. I don't think she'd come back and fight Amanda Nunes, because it would just end in further embarrassment for me, because she's not the same fighter. It's not the same division as what it once was. It's Amanda Nunes' division now. And talking about her, she had an apology to issue.
She did. We have the Instagram. Let me take a moment to explain myself. I was overwhelmed with adrenaline, emotion, and hurt all at the time. I held so much in during this week's prior to my fight with Ronda. I might have said or posted some things at the time that I now realize was not the right thing to do. I want to apologize to Ronda, her fans, and mine in the UFC as well. Ronda's an amazing athlete and has done so much for this sport, especially for the women's MMA. And you know what, that's fine. Apology accepted on the behalf. I mean, everyone was very quick to criticize. Look at her jumping around because she won. How is it that it's fascinating to me what we criticize MMA fighters for. And when I sat down with Robin, and you came out with this too, Robin Black's whole thing is fighting is about fighting. So everything before and after that happens around the octagon is not about fighting.
Yeah.
It's inside, and if you're only discussing, that's his whole thing, is I discuss what happens inside that cage. Everything that happens inside of that cage. Doesn't matter what you do after, before, later, in terms of his analysis. I mean, Robin's not someone I don't think agrees with some of what fighters do outside the octagon and cage. But my point being here is she won. She was being unsportsmanlike. We're talking about a sport where your goal is to break the other person's face. That's your goal. The sport is unsportsmanlike. Therefore, you don't have to hug it out when you're done. And in Amanda Nunes' case, it's nice that she apologized. I think that's great, and I think it should be accepted. But I also have to agree with the point being is that she was so underpromoted and booed by every single person in that arena. I was there. And I heard it. Not one person gave two craps about Amanda Nunes aside from her family.
Yeah. And I think that on top of that is that she, in a way, realized that a lot of the time in the UFC, it's about more than just what, as much as I agree with what Robin says, unfortunately, to get to a level where people need to be talking about you, whether it's in the good or the bad, you need to be promoting yourself outside of it, right? Which I think everyone understands.
He's just talking about,
he's talking about the
fight analysis.
So I think Amanda Nunes at that point was thinking, I think she was caught up in all the emotions, but again, I think she was thinking, maybe I'll be the villain that everyone wants. Maybe I'll be the one that accepts this victory and let people know I'm here. And people were talking about her after. Like they were. I felt that she wasn't getting the respect before, but after she still wasn't getting the respect. It was considered a Ronda Rousey loss, not an Amanda Nunes emphatic, overwhelmingly devastating victory, demonstrating her punching power, how ferocious she was, how fearless she was. That wasn't pushed enough. So I think that she was being discredited even after she didn't accept the win in sportsmanlike fashion. I think that, again, your emotions are caught up, and the people around you were constantly waiting for your downfall because they wanted Ronda to rise back up to the top. So, yeah, I don't think it was the right thing to do, but I'm not in the octagon at that time. I don't think that everyone can be as ingracious as victory as you would like someone to be, but her apology was very heartfelt, and she said everything right. Ronda Rousey did a lot for the sport. I was underpromoted. I got excited, but now we're back to business, and I'm going to take the sport further and push it forward.